Okay, here I have what's developing into a left hand part and right hand part. So the etude has sort of a starting point like this. Those notes are prepared with fishhook screws, triangular pencil grips, foam pencil grips, combination of 3 preparations on the A flat 3 and G 3, and then I have just single triangular pencil grips on D flat 4 and C 4, and then I have a very tight fitting fishhook screw, which is kind of like very snug fitting, so it's going to really resonate in a different way. A lot of sound there. Probably the most sound out of any note is that E flat 3, because it's kind of the pivot point for your left hand part. If you see how the E flat functions. So it's always going to be on the offbeats, da 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 do dee da da da, in this triplet form. And then my A flat and E flat in the bass are foam pencil grips. And as the etude expands, there's more bass notes. I'll probably have more foam pencil grips on those, because I really like the sound of the mid register resonating more than the lowest notes, so that the beat is always obscured. The bass notes are usually on the downbeats. And if that's actually more muted with the foam pencil grips, it brings out the really interesting rhythmic patterns that are always in cycles throughout this etude. And then finally up here on the right hand part, I decided in the end to leave this middle register open, the thing that your right hand would be playing. So that has no preparations on it. But the upper note, notes that the pinky plays has fishhook screws. And then kind of looking ahead to the big climactic moment on the E flat 7 chord, I'm starting to add more fishhook screws up here, loosely fitting, so that it just sparkles and it doesn't really alter the pitch too much, but just adds a little metallic sparkle to the pitches in the top register. Alright, here's a close to finished setup of the Chopin Etude Opus 10, number 10. I have foam pencil grips in the lower bass notes here, a small foam pencil grip on A flat so that it resonates near the end there. D flat, big one, E flat is a big one, A flat and B flat are all big foam pencil grips. E flat 3 has a double, very tightly fitting fishhook screws, almost gong-like. And then I have C and D flat and E flat. Wait, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. G, A flat, and B flat, all with with a triangle pencil grip and like a harder plastic pencil grip, and then doubled fishhook screws loosely fitting. So there's some pitch, a lot of rattle, and then up here on the D flat and C4, just foam pencil grips to mute the sound a little bit. Totally open from D4 all the way to E flat 5. D4 to E flat 5 is open. And then from there on up, I have a lot of fishhook screws loosely fitting. And I have to make sure to have E naturals for that big climactic moment where it goes that flat 2 chord, the E major chord off of the E flat 7. Okay, so that's about it in terms of playing. There's one note change that I had to make. Well, two things actually. One of them was here on near the end at the climactic E flat pedal, starting on measure 65. Those are actually an octave lower. So I'm playing actually. So I'm playing way down there because the E flat here is distorted. So that's the reason. So that's one note change. And then right at the end, right before I play the final note here, I'm going to remove the C natural, the triangle pencil grip on C4, because I want that final sound to be, you got to lift the pedal. So that's about it. Let's see how it sounds. Just a quick note about the upper register. The notes that are not prepared are actually really important here. Most of them are prepared, but E flat is open, so is F. And then I have A natural open. And then F sharp, G, A flat. Those are all really important to be open. It adds resonance to those passages. And then only ones that are prepared here are, what is that? B flat and D flat and E natural. B flat, D flat, E natural. One other addition, I'm going to now take both the C4 and D flat 4 out while playing the ending. So it'll be kind of choreographed to take those two preparations out. It's an interesting challenge. I mean, I started doing that with Chopin Etude Op 10 number 3, and this is sort of an additional, kind of like a, sort of an expansion of that idea, is to do that again with removing preparations in the middle of the piece. I've been really enjoying this setup. I'm getting better at working efficiently and quicker with like what I'm going for musically now. I've noticed I've gotten more proficient at that in terms of just, knowing what might work and what might not work before I end up doing a bunch of stuff to try it out. So yeah, leaving this middle register is, leaving it open is key. And having this sort of like double fish hook, loose fitting double fish hooks with the triangular pencil grips, hard plastic, is really a great sound because it has a lot of effects, but it also still preserves the pitch content. And the foam pencil grips are great. I kind of wish I had more small triangular pencil grips like these. I have to find the right size. I have to get them. I have a bunch of them that are too big, so I have to find that. And then this is a very tight fitting screw that sounds really good. Double screw, I should say, on both in both spots there. I will eventually probably have something here on this D flat. There's only a single note right now, but I'll probably have something for that note. Anyway, these fish hook screws, loose fitting, work really well too. There's that sparkly sound, works really well with the pedal down, with generous pedal. And finally, the most interesting, maybe choreographically for choreography here, is to I take these two pencil grips out as quickly as possible right before the final passage where it goes, because because I don't want those being distorted there. I want the C and the D flat to be clear so you can hear that it's in A flat major at the end. So I take that out while playing the final run, and that's a really interesting challenge. Here's the final setup for the day, Opus 10, number 10, draft number 1. I altered some things here. I changed these two triangular pencil grips to foam pencil grips, and I also added a foam pencil grip on D natural. And everything else is similar here. I also added a F natural, F5 for a fishhook screw at the end of the first phrase. So those are there, and then at the very end I take out these two foam pencil grips. It's easier to take out foam pencil grips than triangle hard plastic, and it also blends well with the bass notes, so it kind of ties together the left hand nicely that way.